Hello, this is Manesh Patel from Ichimoku Today is March 8th, 2015. This is our executive summary for all global markets out there. We'll first start covering through Europe, then we'll transition over to Middle East, then we'll go to Asia, and then we'll wrap up by covering North and South America. So we'll pretty much cover the globe, going through various different stock market exchanges around the world. Okay, normal procedure. This is our disclaimer here to state this is for education use only. We're not soliciting you to buy or sell any particular instrument. If you do so, you're doing that at your own risk. We use a combination of Thinkorswim, TradeStation, and eSignal. Here are our contact details here. info@eiicapital.com, or you could call us at any of our office locations here. List shown at the very bottom of the screen here, right there. Or you could go to our website, ichimokutrade.com, and you could access any of our free videos, multiple time frame email alerts, our real-time scanner now that we have available for all global markets, and so forth. So let's begin. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off in Europe. So we pretty much start off with Ireland. If you look on the left hand side is basically the daily time frame. On the right hand side is the weekly time frame. The support resistances we laid out are based on the weekly time frame, and also we talk pretty much about the weekly time frame, which gives you the long-term view. So we pretty much focus on that. So if you look at Ireland market here, you could see that basically it's broken out and it's a nice big trend. It's very, very strong. It's got a high probability now of reaching the resistance at 82.48, so that's where we're targeting there. We kind of was hoping that it would have pulled back a little more before we went up there, but nope, it's taking a straight shot straight up to that resistance. UK market, you could see this has been one ugly consolidation pattern here. It finally sat there and broke out about 3 weeks ago here. You could kind of see it's just kind of hovering around here. It's holding the support now at 68.57, so that's a good thing there. So as long as it holds the support at 68.57, it's got a high probability by the end of this year to get to 71.27. So this is starting to look like it's a possibility of breaking out, but we need to make sure that this needs to follow through and start making a move up. Okay, and you can see from the daily time frame here, it's still very strong here. As long as it holds the support here, it has a high probability of breaking out. If it breaks that support here, it could actually come back and just be in a nasty consolidation pattern where the top of the consolidation pattern just expanded. If you look, the UK is kind of the weakest of all of them, because if you look at Germany, and then we'll follow through and look at France in a minute, Germany is in a nice little trend going upwards here. You could see that when it broke 10,015 at the very beginning of the year, it pretty much has not looked back at all. It's got a high probability of now getting to 11,787 before the end of this year, and it could happen even very soon. France here, just like Germany, is broken out here with vengeance here. It's going all the way up to 5,000 very easily. High probability of getting there very easily. Once it breaks that, then we'll sit there and write up the other resistances above that. Support here is going to be 45.27. So if you look at this, before, if you remember, France was kind of consolidating just like UK, and you could see that it's broken out, whereas the UK market hasn't. So this still is not that strong compared to Germany, because Germany's moving at a higher percentage, but this is still fairly strong. Switzerland, if you remember last year, broke out here in a nice little trend upwards. You could see here this year, look at this big move downwards here at the very beginning of the year due to the Switzerland bank making an announcement here, moved the markets drastically down, and you could see it's retraced back for this whole big spike bar up here, and we're kind of right back where we kind of almost started here at 91.15. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens now, but you could see there's a lot of volatility in this market. But overall, this is still consolidating between 78.84 and 91.15 until it breaks out of that consolidation pattern. That's pretty much where the Switzerland market sits. Next is Iceland. We talked about Iceland at the middle of last year breaking out. It pretty much broke out. It pretty much has not looked back at all. It's on its pace now to high probability of getting to 500. It could actually get there within a month or two too, the way the thing's going. Next is going to be the Baltic region here. You could see the Baltic region here. Let's zoom out a little here. Nice little trend here, and then decided to go for a major pullback here. Here it looked like it was about to turn that major pullback into a trend reversal, but it actually did a little fake movement down. They came back up here, it broke resistance here at 787, and then it's kind of gone up all the way up here to 631. This thing is just being one crazy price action movement that's going on. So we really don't know if this is going to sit there and continue the trend, or if this is going to be the top of the consolidation pattern. It's unknown right now, but due to all the price action and erratic movement this thing's gone through. Denmark here, nice little trend going upwards. It's at one of the resistances now at 884. If it breaks that, this thing's going to really even now probability of getting to 1,000 is going to be high before the end of the year. But first, of course, it's got to get to 900 and then make a move to there. But Denmark's very, very strong. You could see that from both the daily and the weekly time frame. Finland is next. You can see Finland, just like Denmark, has moved up. It's at a resistance now at 9,021. This thing still needs a pullback, just like Denmark does, but it's not doing that at all. Still going up higher, so I wouldn't be surprised if this thing does sit there and get to 10,000 before the end of the year. So Denmark and Finland are very, very, very bullish. Norway is kind of opposite, where it's not bullish at all. It's just kind of tweetering around here now. It's kind of stuck between 636 and 668 now. It's got to sit there and break one of the two out of here. If it breaks 668, then this trend here, major pullback, it's going to follow through and sit there and retest a high. If it breaks this 636, then basically let's make a lower low here, and this thing's going to either consolidate or turn into a bearish trend trickling down. So you really don't know right now until it decides which way it wants to go. This is still tilted towards the bullish side here, with still high probability of breaking the 668 and sit there going to retest the high. So if you're trying to pick a decision, it's going to be pretty much bullish until that support gets broken. Belgium here is very similar to Denmark and Finland. Here you could see it's trending upwards. Next resistance is going to be 37.85 for that one. Sweden here, and just like all the others, Belgium and so forth, it's nice trending upwards here, and you can see the next resistance is going to be 1704. Next country is Netherlands. Netherlands also is sitting there trending here, and next resistance is going to be 500. You could see a lot of these countries here in Germany, out in Europe, like Germany, France, Denmark, Finland, Belgium, Sweden, Netherlands are trending bullish. You do have some weaknesses in some of them, like I think, what was it, Norway I think was here, not showing the strength just like it did with Finland and Belgium, its neighbors. Also UK just broke out but still showing some weakness, and Switzerland is at a resistance, so it's showing some weakness. Well, overall Europe in general is making a huge move up, which a lot of people didn't count on at all. So let's continue on with the rest of Europe. Is Spain here. You could see Spain is just consolidating, really not breaking out at all. Support is going to be 10,308. Resistance is going to be 11,382. But that thing's just consolidating. The big one a lot of people are looking at is Greece here. There's a nice little trend downwards here. However, it's stuck right now between 1183 and 1392. If it breaks this 1183, Greece has a potential to keep on going lower. If it breaks this resistance here, this thing's going to come up a high probability getting to 1513, and somewhere in here it'll probably consolidate. We just don't know, but we got to wait to see which level of these it's going to break to determine which way Greece is going to go. Portugal here, you could see a nice little trend going downwards here, then decided to want to go for a major pullback, and that's what's causing this bullish action here on this daily time frame right now. However, you're at a major resistance here at 11,548. If we break that, then we do have a possibility of getting to 12,340, which will continue this bullish trend here. However, this thing does need a little pullback to determine exactly what it's going to do. So that pullback is going to determine if this thing's going to consolidate now or break up to the top side. The bearish momentum here is kind of almost dwindling now due to all the price action that's occurred here, and especially the bullish nature here on the daily time frame. If this was going to sit there and retest this low here, it should have sat there and held somewhere in here instead of breaking out to the bullish side, but that didn't do that at all. So Portugal is either going to be bullish or it's going to consolidate. Italian market here, Nice trend here, did a pullback, held a support 18,544, bounced off that guy and came all the way back here to retest this resistance here, 22,564. If it breaks it, then it's got a high probability getting 23,553, but we got to see a break here, and really it's kind of need of a pullback right now, so we're waiting to see if this goes for a pullback and what happens on that pullback before you can sit there and determine if it's going to break that resistance with high probability. Austria here, you could see it was in a nice trend here, broke it, once sat there and broke the resistance, went into a major pullback, and looks like it's a one nasty major pullback right now, which just looks like one big consolidation pattern that's slowly trickling downwards here. So this is just one ugly pattern here due to the volatility here. The daily time frame does look like a bullish trend here, but be very, very careful in thinking that this is going to have some more upside to the bullish side. Reason why, due to this ugly pattern on the weekly time frame. Czech Republic is basically consolidating, nothing really to talk about here. Consolidating between 990 and 1057. Hungary, you could see overall this pattern's going down slowly. This is an ugly pattern going down slowly. So the highs are going lower and the lows are going lower. However, it's not holding these clouds back, and because it's bouncing back and forth on them. So this is respecting more of a monthly time frame than the weekly time frame. But you could see that this is just one ugly pattern going back and forth here. Not really much to talk about at all. Poland here, you could see is ugly too. However, it's ranging right now between 2300 and 2392. If it breaks the support, this could have a possibility of starting a trend where it'll retest this low here and then possibly break that to go to the bottom of this consolidation pattern. If it breaks this resistance here, then it's going to start making a move to go to the top of the consolidation pattern. So we'll see what happens. The probabilities are still high right now, where this resistance right here, this minor one at 2360 is holding. If that holds, it's got a high probability of breaking this 2300 and starting a trend to the downside. Romania, this is nice bullish trend here. Did a major pullback to here. It's got a high probability of breaking the pivot high and at least getting to 75.39. So we'll have to wait and see. But the longer this consolidates, the longer it doesn't break out, the lower the probabilities are breaking the high. But right now the probabilities are to the upside as long as it holds the support right here at 71.14. Sorry, 71.14. So yeah, 71.14. As long as it holds that support, it still has a high probability of breaking the pivot high and keep on going up. But the longer it consolidates, the more it's going to become in danger of doing nothing. Okay. Next is Russia. A lot of people looking at this one here. Nice bearish trend, as everyone knows here. Then it decided to consolidate. What was interesting, it broke this resistance here at 829 and got to the major resistance here at 928. It's holding here right now. The key thing is what's going to happen here. It's going to range between 829 and 928 until it determines which way it wants to go. If it breaks this resistance, the Russian market is going to go for a major pullback, which is going to be an upward movement there, which is also going to cause an upward movement here on the daily time frame. If it holds that resistance and breaks the support here, we have a high probability of retesting that low and continuing on this trend to the downside. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen here. But your probabilities, believe it or not, are high for this thing to sit there and break the resistance right now, where it's going to sit there and go for a major pullback. So we'll have to wait and see. South Africa, nice little trend here. Went for a major pullback here in a consolidation pattern here. Broke the resistance of 31.98. High probability getting 38.87. They want to see exactly what happens. This thing's consolidating now, so it may not get to this resistance level right now because as more this consolidates, the more high probability it has a chance to come back down to 31.98 before it sits there and goes up to that resistance, but we'll have to wait and see. Turkey, really not doing anything at all, just consolidating here. It didn't even quite reach a resistance we had laid out. It's 47.75. Our support right now is 42.10, so really not doing anything exciting. Israel here, nice bullish trend here. It went for a major pullback, held at the support right around here, and now it's made this move to go up here. The key level it's got to break is the 6,000 level. If it could break it, it's got a high probability of retesting this high, at least up to about 6,800 or so. and they wanted to see what happens. But you could see here from the daily time frame here, anything could go here because you're at a major resistance level right now. If it holds that resistance level and then breaks the support at 5400, this thing's going to sit there, go from a major pullback and turn into a trend reversal. So be very, very careful in trying to think the Israel market is bullish right now, because you're at a major multiple time frame resistance of 6,000, and as long as that thing holds, it still has a high probability of coming back down here to retest this low. And at that point, if it does, this is no longer a major pullback because it's going to start a bearish trend on both the daily and the weekly. Saudi Arabia, you could see a nice bullish trend here, a major pullback. This is an ugly major pullback because of the severity of how fast it moved down and how far it deep penetrated. However, this thing bounced off this support here at 81.55 and sat there and broke this resistance at 91.90. So this thing is trying to get back up to 99.27 and see if it's going to establish a consolidation pattern for a long-term consolidation pattern where the top is going to be. We're not quite sure. We think it's going to be either 99.27 or 10,248. So we'll have to wait and see what it's going to do. Dubai really hasn't doing anything at all. It's just sitting there hanging around this resistance here at 38.47. The more it hangs around, the high probability it's going to sit there and go down to retest this low. It's really got to sit there and break this resistance here and then break this resistance here at 40.94, which is the key one to sit there and say, now we got a high probability of trying to retest this pivot high up here. However, it's got to sit there and break this resistance now, and the more it continues, the more low probability of breaking it and high probability of Dubai market tanking. Abu Dhabi consolidating just like Dubai market. However, it's holding its ground here at the support at 43.62. It's got to break this resistance here, 47.51, and 48.57 is the biggest one up here. And you could see from the daily time frame it's starting to struggle. It's had a chance to keep on going up, but it's starting to struggle here. You had a minor support right now that's held. As long as this minor support holds, it's got a high probability of going up here. If that support breaks, then it's going to sit there and start making a move down. And at that point, I'll be very careful because it could sit there and break the support here to start a trend to the downside. Remember, Dubai is already leading some indication of going bearish, so it could sit there and leave Abu Dhabi also to go bearish. Next is Bahrain, and you could see here this is strong right now compared to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and you could see a bullish trend here, held dead a major pullback. It's retesting this resistance at 14.76. If it breaks this is going to sit there and keep on going higher, and a nice percentage movement all the way to the very end of the year. But we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen here. As long as the support at 14.32 holds, this thing's still going to be bullish going forward. Kuwait, really nothing exciting going on here, and you could see from my yawn, it's really ranging here between 10.35 and 11.26, so nothing really exciting there. Oman, same thing. Look at all the volatility here. It's not even worth talking about at all. Qatar here, you can see the host of the World Cup here. Nice bullish trend here. Held the major pullback level at 11,462. However, it can't sit there and break this resistance here at 12,666. If it doesn't break this resistance at all, and then this thing starts to go bearish, this is going to be in very big trouble, where this is going to break that support and could possibly start a trend to the downside. So really sit there and can't start a bearish trend on the daily time frame. If it does, it's going to destroy the weekly completely, and things could reverse on you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cover Asia. Let's go over to China and let's discuss that first. You could see here a nice bullish trend here. It hasn't got quite to our resistance at 35.83, but it's holding this minor support 33.79, so it's got a high probability of getting up there. Hong Kong really not doing anything here. Thought maybe it would have started a bullish trend here, but all it did was increase the width of this consolidation pattern to the top side. So the top of the consolidation pattern is 25,124. As long as the support here 23,938 holds, this thing still has a high probability of breaking the high to start a trend to the upside. Korea, really not doing anything except ranging right now between 251 and 256. Nothing exciting there to talk about. Japan here is in a nice bullish trend here, going to the top side. It's got a high probability, believe it or not, getting to 20,000 by the end of this year. So keep an eye on the Japan market. Malaysia here, you could see nice bullish trend here, did a major pullback to here, and then sat there and broke a resistance 1784. The way this looks on both the daily and weekly, I have a feeling instead of retesting this high up here, where this thing's going to enter a consolidation pattern. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen at that resistance level. Singapore, you could see here, is trying to sit there and break out to the bullish side here. Did it once here, didn't follow through and hold the support, sat there, broke that support again, broke that resistance at 59.42, and sat there and retesting this high up here. So this thing, at the retesting of the high, it's got to literally start making a move very soon to sit there and break this resistance and to keep on going higher. Thailand here is a nice bullish trend, did a major pullback here, did a bleep here just to kind of fake everyone out, came back up here, didn't quite retest the high up here, fell a little short right here. However, this thing's weakening now to a point it doesn't look like it's got a high probability of breaking that pivot high. In fact, I will sit there and start looking for bearish setups to go to the bearish side here. The safest way is until this support here at 1490 is broken, it's not really that high probability to sit there and take a bearish trade to the downside. Okay, however, you got to sit there and wait for these supports to be broken, but this thing does have a high probability of entering a big consolidation pattern instead of reversing, so be very careful in trading the Thailand market. Now this has been a big surprise. It's Indonesia, and you can see it's been holding very strong, high probability in getting resistance of 56.33 and continuing on from there, but that's very strong in Asia right now. That's, well, second to China, believe it or not. Next is Philippines here. We've had a major trend pull back. We retested a high here at 56.69. You could see here on the daily time frame still has a high probability of breaking it. However, if this thing consolidates for a little while, then this could be the end of this this resistance holding. And at that point, a lot of people will think this is a double top and may start betting on this thing going down. So be very careful in trying to go bullish on this one right now, because it does have a possibility where it could have reached a high and it could reverse. Vietnam, really nothing exciting. It's just consolidating between about 430 and 602, so nothing really exciting there. Australia has broken out for the last couple of weeks, broke the resistance of 5630, has a high probability of now going to 6052. New Zealand here is being bullish trending for a while now. We've been talking about this one. This thing keeps on going and going and going. Not much of a pullback either, as you could see. And lastly, for the Asia, South Asia region, is the Indian market here. You could see this nice bullish trend here at a resistance at 9,066. But believe it or not, this thing is on track to sit there and get to 10,000 before the end of the year. It's very strong. Typically what happens is in January and February, the Indian market pulls back. However, it didn't pull back that severe. It only pulled back to our short-term support here at 85.27. So this thing's still very strong right now, to a point I wouldn't be surprised if it does blow the lid off this thing and gets to 10,000 before the end of the year. Okay. Now to North and South America, you could see here, this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We're sitting there trying to get to 18,500 is the next resistance level for this guy. It's slowly trickling up. These supports right here are kind of still moving, so be very careful on them. Reason why it's still in the trend upwards. S&P 500 is slowly going up to hit a major resistance of 21.26, but slowly going upwards there. And then you got the NASDAQ. This is slowly going upwards to, it's at one resistance of 44.80 and so forth. But if you look at the U.S. markets, a lot of people think they're bullish, but they're not as bullish as far as percentage-wise. It's great right now compared to a lot of things going on in Europe. You know, you see the things in Ireland, Paris, Denmark, and so forth, they're pretty much trending to the bullish side a lot more than the U.S. market. So it pays right now to sit there and start looking for stocks in the European markets. Well, it may not now, but it was beneficial if you started doing that at the very beginning of the year compared to now. Let's go over to Canada. This was nice trending here, you could see here, and then now it's deciding to consolidate here. This is still bullish and still has a high probability of retesting this high as long as the support at 14,911 holds. Okay. Next is Mexico. If you look at Mexico here, this is really doing nothing right now except consolidating between 42,129 and 44,425. Argentina, if you look at this, nice bullish trending here, pulled back, and it's at a major resistance right now, which is at 10,147. If it breaks this resistance, which the daily is trying to do, this thing does have a high probability of getting to 11,252, breaking that, and then getting to 13,000, and it could possibly even break that to keep on going higher. So the Argentina market, believe it or not, is very, very strong still moving forward. Okay. Next is Santiago Chile. This is really doing nothing except consolidating between 37.44 and 39.94, so nothing exciting there at all. And then lastly is Brazil. Brazil right now is stuck between 49,473 and 51,583. If it breaks the support, it's going to retest that low, and it could actually go lower. So the support really needs to hold right now, and that resistance needs to break at 51,583 to keep on going higher. But this overall is basically consolidating, but you could see the pivots are slowly moving up. So this is a consolidation pattern, but it's an upward consolidation pattern, which is pretty much what you're seeing right now. Okay, that pretty much concludes everything, but what I want to do is I want to show you guys something new that we released. This is our multiple time frame forecasting scanner for all the global markets. So let me get this across to my screen right now. Shrink this guy down. So I want you guys to look at this. This is basically we're looking at a 4-hour, daily, weekly, and what it's doing is it's doing time frame matching to make sure that the 4-hour, daily, and weekly have the same support resistance levels. And also at the 240 minute, it has a Ichimoku cloud strategy at the same time. So these are live opportunities right now with the multiple institutional support resistance that are there. So you guys, I just want to show you the scan. I just sat there and ran it right now, and you could see these are all the stocks around the world. As you could see, there's China, Malaysia, there's Canada here, Japan, Canada, Australia, India, and so forth. So let me scroll that down here for you. Okay, so there's your list right there, and then I'm going to scroll next. So you can look at these are live opportunities that we're going to be looking at right now, and you could see here's the US here. So these are the only particular stocks around the world that are set up right now on a 4-hour time frame with a multiple time frame support resistance. So this is something that we released in our scanner now, which gives you the ability to do forecasting, which looks for multiple time frame support resistances. The same ones I've been actually showing you, believe it or not, for years in this video, where I give you those support resistance for a weekly time frame. Okay. Again, you could go to ichimokutrade.com. You could try out a 30-day trial and check it out for yourself. Okay. So we're pretty much going to wrap up now. Here's our contact details again. Here's the email, our website, and then our phone numbers here if you have any questions or so forth. I look forward to speaking to you guys next time. Thank you.